So 2018 flag, tell me about, I don't know, what memories you have? Were you nervous morning of the game?
I was, the grand final parade this year, we didn't take our phones, and I didn't have a partner because,
Why?
I did, but Jerry McGovern was going to be sitting with me, and he decided he wasn't coming to the grand final parade.
Yes.
Which was great, which was fine. Like, I think probably fair enough. He was trying to get himself up for a game because he was sooking about how much his leg hurt or whatever it was. But then the AFL. So I'm sitting on that chair by myself for ages in the sun. It wasn't warm. Wasn't cold either that day. And then AFL literally forced him to come.
Yeah.
So then I had to sit there by myself for even longer. And like, no one wanted to interview me, but because they knew I was with Jeremy McGovern, I had like every media outlet ever. And they're like trying to be polite, and like while I'm waiting, they're like asking me questions, and I'm like, just don't bother, boys. Like, just let me sit here. Like, he'll be here soon. And it's kind of what happened. As soon as he got there, it was pretty fun.
So you get through that day and you get onto the bus for the grand final. We have seats that we sit on the bus, not by name tag, like you know whose seat.
Yeah.
Seat covers.
Not seat covers. No, not like your seat cover you're sitting on right now. No, you have, everyone knows. Don't sit in Scully seats, mate. Everyone has a seat. Who used to sit next to?
Gov, again. And that ride was... That was probably the nervous that I most nervous, and not because I was wanted to be nervous, it was because Jerry McGovern is like the most chill dude ever when it comes to footy. And this day he wasn't chill at all. He was like, because he was pretty bad. Like, that thing was pretty bad.
Yeah, it was bad.
And he didn't know he was going to play the game. I'm pretty sure up until like a few hours before, he was sure he wasn't going to play, and he made this call he was going to. So when he was sitting on the bus and we're on the way to the ground, he's kind of like sitting back and forth like making this like noise, and he doesn't do that. So I was like, Gov, what's going on? Like, you were stressing me out. If you're going to stress me out, I'm going to stress these people out, and it's going to stress the whole bus out, and we're cooked. And he was literally, he hadn't thought, he'd spent that whole entire week just trying to prepare his body to get up to be able to play, that he actually hadn't thought about playing at all, and it kind of all smashed him by like a ton of bricks. So pretty amazing to go out there.
Did you talk him down off that ledge?
Oh, I think I abused him a little bit and like told him to stop it. But no, there was a few chat, but he was fine. And for him to come out and do what he does, it's like,
He got the best players.
it's pretty. Yeah, he was
crazy.
It's stupid.
Yeah.
But that's Gov.
Any memories from the actual game? I've got one towards the end, but any in the game? Do you remember things like that? How'd you feel? 5 goals down?
Pretty fine actually. Hey, like that was we did a lot of like mindfulness and stuff, and I know like it sounds like everyone says that wins a flag. They talk about this in the last few years, but we really did, and it was like it definitely helped because. And maybe the fact that we just said that do your job 400 billion times that week, it was like it didn't matter what the scoreboard kind of was. It didn't feel like we were out of that game or 5 goals down. It was just it just felt like, oh, it's going to come. Just keep doing your job. And then it did. And then I missed a goal late in the game.
Good.
Which is good. I took a contested mark. Should talk about that first. I took a contested mark. It was the first contested mark I've taken
in your career.
My career.
You're a good spoiler throughout your career.
Oh, I really practiced quite heavily in my spoiling, and you know that.
Midfielders don't notoriously have much respect from me in general, but especially the defensive skills of the game. Manning your player up being one. Spoiling being another. You know, everyone can go and get the footy and kick the ball, handball. Yeah, good on you. You do that. Aussies kick do that. Yep. Can you beat your man 1-on-1? And if you couldn't as a midfielder, you're about a 3 out of 10 in my respect levels. Masten was right up there with 8 or a 9 as a midfielder because he could spoil. He was the best spoiler as a midfielder we ever had.
Had to practice it though. Like I'd spend time at training. It was only the last couple of my years.
I think you had, Brad Shepherd went down in the qualifying final and you went back. They put Masto into the back line. So there you go. He was respected within the club.
That was the first, just so you know, that was the first minute of any moment in my whole footballing career that I played in the back line was in a qualifying or whatever that final
down
was.
Down by 3 goals.
Semi-final, whatever.
You would have been a headless chook.
No, I was fucking all over it.
All right, so you get a mark. We've been peppering the scoreboard. We're within a goal. You get a mark with, it's probably 5 or 6 minutes left in the last quarter of a grand final.
Yeah.
You're 35, man on the mark's 35 out. You're on a slight angle. you're a good set shot at goal. What are you thinking?
Well, I didn't know what to think because first of all, Bunga come up to me straight away and he told me, "Oh, kick the ball straight through the goal." I was like, "Yeah, thanks." All right, thanks, Bunga. And then if you ever watch the footage, I actually laugh because TB comes up to me and TB's good. Tommy Brass, a very good mate of mine as well, and he says something to me. I can't remember what it was, but
wasn't it something like, "What's the fucking worst thing that happened?"
No, he's like, whatever. I'm just like, what? It said something like that. I was just fucking nothing really. Bunga just mumbled, whatever Bunga did, but it made me piss what TB said, and it was so simple. And then I laugh in this, like I've only ever, watched a little bit, but I see myself laugh, and I must look like a complete dick to everyone else. Like, why is this guy laughing and then misses the goal? I wasn't laughing because I was arrogant or anything. It was just something that TB said that was quite funny.
It might be a stupid question. Did you realise how big a moment that is?
Oh yeah, clearly you do. You know how big a moment it is, but it's also like not really because you're still just kicking a ball. Like I realised how big a moment it was, but I wasn't nervous. Nah.
I don't buy the it's just any other game, like all of that stuff. Well, it's just any other kick.
Yeah, but you still got to kick a ball.
It's hard for me to question this, but so he's got the ball in front of goal in a grand final that they're.
What was the score at the time?
We're within a goal, so it's to hit the lead in a grand final. We haven't been in front of most, if not.
And you're just thinking, I've done this 1,000 times.
I wasn't thinking that, but I wasn't thinking, this is the grand final, I've got to kick this either. I wasn't kind of really thinking anything.
We've talked about the grand final a fair bit. You like to bring it up.
You make me. You're like, hey, make sure you talk about winning that grand final, man. You can't not speak about it.
One thing we haven't really talked about is that kick in, the Collingwood kick in that they tried to blame on the runner. What do you guys remember about that moment when they kicked in from after you kicked the point? Was that I can't remember who kicked the point.
I'll let Mass do it, but someone asked me a question today. What were you thinking when Sheeta was going for the goal? To win the game, effectively. And I kind of try to think as players, you're not really thinking anything. Masto's right. You actually are in the moment and you're trying to play your role. So when Masto was lining up for goal, I'm hoping he kicks that goal, as a backman, but I'm set up as if he's going to miss. I'm making sure everyone's set up. So when he does miss, we're just going to get it back and pepper it back in there, which we did in that last quarter. That's what you're thinking about. You're not actually.
You don't. Yeah.
So when the Collingwood runner got in the way and Yowie marked it, pretty much all you think is good, another opportunity to kick a goal. There's no emotion. There's really no emotion.
What happened? What's the run?
I actually don't think
you don't know what happened.
Well, I can't remember there's something to happen with the runner.
So they were bringing the ball out of the back line. Runner got in the way of one of the Collingwood players and they bumped into each other and Yowie.
Runner?
No, Collingwood runner.
And after the game, he was crying and
yeah. I thought he gave a free kick away for this cry, but I got you now. Yeah.
But watching back, a lot of people try to blame him, but it was a horrible kick. He shanked the kick. It wasn't like a.
Mate, if you get hit by a truck and he would still probably mark that, it wouldn't have mattered. Yeah.
So you miss your goal. Sheeta kicks his goal. You're the bloke with the ball in his hands.
I finished with the ball when the sign goes, which is pretty dope. So my immediate thing was to get to the Bulls because I thought I was a Bull, which is the Bulls. I'm sure you've spoken about it every single podcast. The backman, I thought it was a Bull, and specifically probably yourself and Gov. And so I've got up, seen Dom, and Dom's one of my best mates as well. So see Dom, and I kind of brushed him off almost. I could give him a quick, and he just kicked goal, wins the game. I've given him a brief hug. Throwing him around, kind of pushed him aside, and I've just started running, and I kind of get halfway across this 20-meter gap, and Elliot Yo, which is probably the last person I wanted. I'm taking the piss.
We love Yo.
We love Yo, but I don't want to hug him right then in that moment. I want to get to the Bulls, but I get this little gap, and I get spin tackled by Yoey, and all I remember is just I didn't even reckon I did anything, and there's one photo of me literally pushing Yoey out of the way, not giving him anything, just trying to push off him to get to the backs, which I think is fucking hilarious because you don't know what you're thinking in that moment either. You're just you just raw, so you're just going for it. But yes,
I reflect on that moment as the most ecstatic of it, high level excitement you could ever have, beyond excitement. Whatever that feeling is euphoria.
Yeah, I've got that a lot. I'm pretty excited most of the time. So that was, it was way up there.